Hi, the reflection today is from 1 Timothy 4, verses 11 to chapter 5, verse 8. And as I reflect on this passage, what I keep coming back to is intergenerational living in community, and that it's a challenge. And the first part of this passage is a passage that is quite well known. Timothy being told not to look down on himself or be looked down on because of his age. If you're young, don't be afraid to use your giftings. Don't let people restrict you due to your age. And talks about gifting and character and the need to work on both. But part of this passage, I believe, is the purpose of it is that it's counterculture. And I was thinking about our culture. What is our culture now? Is our culture where we raise up the young and that we actually silence the older generation? And I think throughout the world, throughout time, God's call to the generations has been to challenge and to call his believers to measure culture against his word. And so what I'm thinking about is, if we are younger, and I'm not sure at 50 I can now put myself in that category, but if you are younger, I believe that God is calling you to engage in relationships with the older generation, to learn from them. You haven't invented parenthood. You're not the first parents to have sleepless nights. I thought I was, but I'm not. My generation, we're not the first generation to plan for retirement. We're not the first generation of women to go through the menopause, but often we think that we are, because as people, as humans, we are always consumed by our own story. But that's not what God's calling us to be like. He's calling us to live as a intergenerational community where the young learn from the old, but the old learn from the young. I live in a house with 3 teenagers, well, 2 because one's moved out, but they challenge me all the time. It challenges me to see their faith. It challenges me to see their optimism, and it shines a light on any cynicism that has crept into my life. And I want to shine that mirror on me to challenge me to continue to see the glass full, half full, not half empty, to be encouraged by them. But I also want to be an encourager to them. I want them to see that you can live life well through your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. And to challenge them, as I challenge myself, that God wants us to live together. And he wants us to seek the wisdom from the generation above. So I just want to challenge that today. I hope when you read this passage that some of that rings true to you, and that you are challenged to think, where am I in this intergenerational community? What role do I believe that God is calling me to do? And I want to challenge you to step up to that. Let's step up to this together. Let's be countercultural and show that intergenerational living is powerful and it is life-giving, because it's what God intends.